General JJ Singh, what do you think should be done in the current moment? The reality of the matter is, disputed or not disputed, difference of perception, no perception, the Chinese army at this moment is on territory that India believes is legitimately theirs. The Chinese have promised to pull back, but we are nowhere close to status quo ante being restored. In the United States, some analysts are calling it a mini invasion of India by the Chinese. So even if that's a bit exaggerated, leave that on the side. There is presence of Chinese troops on Indian soil. Do we just let it be for the time being, say that the Chinese are getting a bad name internationally, the US is speaking against them and turning the screws really sharply, Japan is coming out strong against them, Australia is coming out strong against them, focus on an international international attempt to bring down China's image? Or do you think physically, militarily, tactically, we need to do something about the Chinese soldiers who are sitting on Indian soil? General Singh.
Yes. Rahul, firstly, China never expected what happened in Doklam in 2017. It was the Indian army which went in and said, well, you can't come anymore and you stop your activities coming into Bhutanese territory because we have an agreement with them. The second point is that when they came in here, again, they were stopped in their tracks by the Indian army, and also they have agreed to pull back. I want people who are so-called experts, who have not served on the line of actual control or who have not seen the other side of this Tibetan plateau, not to pontificate. I think what is important is why China is doing this. For China, the road which we are making to the strategic base at Daulat Beg Oldi, which is also an air base, is very important. They fear India today, that India might outflank them and hit their strategic artery, the G219 road coming from Kashgar to Rudok. I hope people who are trying to be posing as analysts know a little more about the geography there and the geostrategic implications. I think China also has a fear that India might turn the tables on them somewhere or the other, and Indian Army and Indian Armed Forces are prepared to do that at selected points where we have an advantage. So let's not start fear-mongering amongst our people by saying that China will do this or will do that. Once the highest level leadership has agreed, there will be no bullet fired for 40 years. No bullet has been fired. Here again, I am of the opinion that the highest level has been approached, and they said there will be no stupid skirmishes and brawls of the kind which we saw earlier. And therefore, we will try to keep a distance and prevent that from happening. The first phase of disengagement has happened, and de-induction will follow as the discussions take place in the future. But both countries have realized that it's not in
so
their
here's the point you're making. There's no point for fear-mongering at the special representatives level. Leaders on both sides have agreed that they will not be in an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, that there will be a buffer zone between the Indian Army's deployment and the Chinese Army's deployment, which reduces the possibility of the kind of confrontation we saw on the night of the 15th of June. And therefore, de-induction will take place. It may not be immediate, but let's not panic. We've got the situation under control. There is no reason to create fear in the country. Colonel Ajai Shukla, would you respond to that?
I wouldn't respond to that. I would say that the Chinese are in Indian territory. The buffer zone that has been created is entirely in Indian territory. As an Indian, that is unacceptable to me. If the government, which for a long time denied that the Chinese were in Indian territory, the Prime Minister himself denied that the Chinese were in Indian territory. Now they're all admitting they're in Indian territory, but they're saying don't do scaremongering. The Chinese will withdraw. How and what do they rest this assurance on and this belief in Chinese generosity on? Heaven alone knows. But suffice to say, I think it's a good thing that at least today we are admitting that the Chinese are in Indian territory, in occupation of Indian territory. I guess accepting that is the first step towards creating the pressure on the government needed to ensure that they withdraw from Indian territory. This is not scaremongering. Scaremongering is to say that don't say anything against the Chinese, as some so-called army chiefs are saying on your channel, saying that don't say anything against the Chinese. This is in the government's hands. I would just point out to you, this is in the hands of a government that denied that the Chinese came into our territory. Let's hope that they now, with the benefit of public pressure, sort of create the conditions where the Chinese are left with no choice but to withdraw.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.